He's the shove-it man, oh he's the shove-it man. He's gonna shove it, yeah, he's gonna shove it, man.
Previously on the Shove It Show. Private jet is shown, which is apparently for Johnny Fairplay. I love how they've stuck a TNA sticker on it, as if they had their own private jet. Cash is dragging Jeff Jarrett's granny through the crowd. I was actually worried for her health with the way Kid Cash is wrenching on her head. Cash forces her to sign allegiance to Jeff Jarrett. The man to come to his rescue is Tiny the Timekeeper. He once again takes off his shirt. Sonny Siaki is taking a dump, but he doesn't want Trinity looking at his ass.
This is crazy! Oh my God! Did you see Douglas get out of the way? Oh, just in time, but Tracy, leave him spotlight!
Why are two security guards ranked almost at the top of the tag team division? Johnny Fairplay, the most hated man in America because he was on the stupid Survivor program. He looks like Ronald McDonald on crack. The show goes off the air with Abyss throwing AJ out of the ring and through a table. Jesus Christ. I know it's going to get better soon, and I can almost feel things changing in TNA, but getting there is not an easy process. Every storyline somehow leads back to Jeff Jarrett. Apparently, he's going face to face with Don Callis for full control of the company. Yeah, so tonight is the night that two random strange men are going to fight for control of TNA. It's only the second or third time this has happened by the 79th TNA episode. One of those strange men steps out of a car with his girlfriend Goldilocks and two strange big white faces. One of them is Brian Ursula and the other is never introduced to us. Erlacher. God, you guys got me about this last time and I can't remember the correct pronunciation. I'm sick, don't make me hit you with a brick. The first man out is the Monster Abyss. Before we can find out what he's up to, a very sick-looking D'Lo Brown threatens him on camera, and these two are going to have a match. Abyss tries an early chokeslam, which doesn't work, and Brown charges him out of the ring. Man, that cage dancer looks awkwardly young. Why does she hide her face like that? Brown sets up a table and flies back into the ring with a crossbody. He can't do anything else for now, and he runs into a big throw into the air. Abyss goes back to beating him up on the outside. D'Lo looks out of it after hitting the steps. A brief D'Lo comeback is shut down when Abyss boots his face off. D'Lo escapes a backbreaker and he nails the Inzaguri kick for a double down. Back on their feet, D'Lo screams, "What's my name?" and he flies the diving clothesline. Man, D'Lo really just wants to be the rapper DMX at this point. Now somehow D'Lo powers Abyss up and hesitates before hitting a spinning side sound. That's quite impressive strength. Abyss once again attempts his backbreaker and this time it works. D'Lo kicks out at 2. The match keeps on going back and forth. D'Lo thinks he has it won after a spinebuster, but Abyss knocks him off the top by sending the ref into the ropes. The monster hits the black hole slam and that's enough to beat D'Lo. He doesn't seem to be finished as he starts molesting a table. Abyss chokeslams D'Lo off the apron and through the table. For some reason the crowd don't even react to that. Not a good night for D'Lo Brown. Abyss is jumped by El Leon. This is Apollo under a mask. TNA tried over the years to half-heartedly push this monster as many times as they could, but they always gave up. This is one of those times. In the back, a wild slapknot.
Jeff Jarrett.
He's surrounded by a bunch of jobbers and he's speaking to some sort of NWA representative. The guy on the phone says Brian Ursula must leave the TNA arena. For some reason they're very worried about this man. The gifted Glenn Gilberti, say it all with me, how is he gifted, promises to take care of the clowns tonight. Yeah, that's right, the ICP and the Juggalos basically took over the last TNA show. Disco and Jarrett look like secret lovers here. Back at ringside, D'Lo is being stretchered away, and if he didn't look rough before, he sure does now. The X Division title is on the line next. Shawn Michaels' cousin, Michael Shane, is the challenger. It's good to see Tracy Brooks is back on the show, despite a horrible fall on the last show. I hope whoever was responsible for that was fired. The champion is Chris Sabin. These two have been dominating the division for the last year, and they want their final match to be a decider on who is better. We start with the crowd chanting boring. Sabin gets us started for head scissors to bring the fight to the outside. He misses a moonsault off the apron, but he can hit a clothesline. Back in the ring, Sabin kicks him in the head, which sends Shane out of the ring again. He regroups for a while with his little friends. Tracy tries to distract Sabin, which doesn't work. She's persistent though, and the woman with the broken arm manages to pull Sabin off the ring apron. Nothing happens for a very long time because Michael Shane is pretty boring. Sabin wakes the crowd and the Hawk up with a springboard missile dropkick. He sends Shane into the crowd and Sabin hits a big dive out there. The Juggalos like that one. Back in the ring, Sabin drops Shane on his face, but he can't get the win. The Dorks are still distracting Sabin and he's almost rolled up. Michael Shane comes even closer with an implant DDT. Sabin slips out of his next move but can't avoid the super kick. Shane wants to hit sweet chin music now, but he misses. Michael Shane slips out the cradle shock and they trade pins, and one of them works. Crisp Sabin is the winner. Good, now can we please get a new challenger because all the matches between these two feel a bit mid. Shane Douglas is very upset that his guys lost again. He calms down and they hug it out. On the last show, reality TV star Johnny Fairplay debuted for TNA. He ate up insane amounts of TV time, annoyed everyone and said AJ Styles was a nobody. He paid for that. Johnny Fairplay is now in a neck brace. His shirt says, "Do you have any idea who I am?" I honestly still barely know. Mike Tenay runs down how everybody hates him whilst he smiles with happiness. Johnny Fairplay promises to bring big ratings to TNA, and he's going to do this by hosting a weekly talk show on TNA. Great, we've got that to look forward to then. The Sandman is freezing to death in an alleyway. He's crying because CM Punk and Julio De Niro keep beating him up. They really want Raven, but he's been MIA. Sandman promises to bring another new partner into TNA this week. Out now is Punk and De Niro with James Mitchell. The Sandman makes his very long entrance. He reveals that his mystery partner will be Mikey Whipwreck. Thus, kind of less interesting than Balls Mahoney the previous week. Mikey is very pleased to see James Mitchell, his former manager in ECW. Mikey looks like a normal guy on the street, which has always kind of been his deal, but he looks worse than ever here. He pretends he's going to turn on the Sandman, but doesn't do it. The ECW guys clear the ring and they share a beer just like last week. This goes on for a while until they spray beer at the gathering. It turns out to be a fun spot match. Mikey is in there hitting head scissors and stunners. Sandman hits the Frankensteiner as Whipwreck does a slingshot leg drop on Julio. Punk also gets a Frankensteiner just as Mikey misses a dive out of the ring. The gathering now have a 2-on-1 advantage. CM Punk starts using the Sandman's cane. He isn't hurt and he hits a combination Russian leg sweep DDT. James Mitchell distracts Sandman, which allows Julio to hit a super kick. The gathering hit their side slam diving elbow drop, and just like that, it's over in a few minutes. Nice to see Mikey again, and not a boring moment in this match, I just wish it went a bit longer. The post-match attack is interrupted by gory images saying that I'm watching you. The gathering dump in their nappies with fear and they leave. In the back is the New York Numpties. There's been disorder with their tag team as one of them has recently pledged allegiance to Slapnuts and the other one hasn't. They go back and forth arguing for ages over who was signed with Jarrett. They decide that it's probably just Glenn Gilberti trying to turn them against each other. Why is this hateable team supposed to be good guys? Don Callis, the red shirt Burks and Johnny Fairplay call out Brian Urlacher. Not sure where his little friend has gone. TNA was obsessed with Brian. Callis says if Urlacher doesn't go home then Erik Watts will lose the main event match tonight by default. I'm not sure why they're treating this non-wrestler as a massive threat to the balance of control in TNA. He makes short work of the red shirt Burks before turning his attention to Ronald McDonald. Urlacher press slams him out of the ring. Okay, maybe Brian Urlacher is a threat to the balance of power. Shows how weak the roster is. In the back, a group of X Division wrestlers have gathered. They're going to be representing TNA in the upcoming World X Cup. It's a pretty exciting team. These are going to be some good matches. Jerry Lynn starts moaning about Don Callis sending him home for months. In the main event tonight, he will be handcuffed to Kid Cash, presumably to stop everybody interfering. I bet that won't go well. Up next, a completely random X Division match. Chad Collier, Shark Boy, Matt Striker and Eric Young gather in the ring. They are basically guys not under contract with TNA, but they work sporadically for the company. This is Eric Young's second TNA appearance. First, Kid Cash wants Jeremy Borash to pledge allegiance to Jeff Jarrett. He won't do it and says it's going to be irrelevant tonight when Erik Watts wins control of the company. Oh no, Kid Cash gets into it with Tiny the Timekeeper when Slapnut's grandma starts bonking him with a broom. Kid Cash dumps his nappy of fear and runs from the old hag and Tiny the not-so-tiny Timekeeper. Yes, there is a match still taking place tonight. I'd forgive you if you thought there wasn't. It's going to be a 4-man team from AAA. The Juice teams of Hector Garza, Abismo Negra and S.A. Rios. Wow, what a team, sign me up. As many of you would know, S.A. Rios is one of my all-time favourite cruiserweights. 19 matches for TNA. Would anyone be interested in the Hawk making that video? I've not seen any of those matches before either. Alright, I have, but I can't remember them. The Juice and the Shark start. Sharky hits a neckbreaker for a 2. Juve misses a splash and tags are made. EY fights with Abismo. He also misses a splash and Erik big boots him out of the ring. S.A. Rios and Chad Collier in now. Rios misses a handspring and gets dropkicked. S.A. then hits his own dropkick and tags Hector Garza, the powerhouse of the team. Garza and Striker don't have very good chemistry. Team Jobber are making lots of quick tags, but they're not really doing anything interesting. Sharky hits the shark bite to 0 crowd reaction. I don't think Garza has managed a thing in there. EY has terrible roid acne. It's actually pretty vile when you look at it. He gets a 2 off a suplex. Collier hits him with a butterfly suplex. The tag is suddenly made to Abismo. He hits a clothesline and awkwardly tries to stop a tag but fails. Let's see if the Juice can do something. The Juice is a real trendsetter with Juicy written on his ass. That brand surely couldn't have been about back then, could it? He can't do anything, so far this match is a huge disappointment. The match breaks down, so dives can happen. Abismo hits a life-taking dive, and S.A. Rios hits a crazy corkscrew flip dive. Sharkboy also hits his own dive, which looks very tame. Then Garza almost botches his moonsault. It didn't look like he was going to get the full rotation there. EY is left alone in the ring. The Juice hits the Juve driver, and S.A. Rios follows straight after with a shooting star for the free. Well, other than the closing stages, this was very boring, and I don't think these guys matched up very well. Team NWA slowly plod down to the ring to shake the hands of Team AAA. They are all the best of friends now. In the back, it's Pirate Trinity. She's told she'll be handcuffed to Sonny Don't Look at My Ass Siaki in the main event. She calls Siaki brain dead. They're feuding over Siaki refusing to sign with Jeff Jarrett. Does this make Siaki a good guy? Don't Look at My Ass is jumped by Kid Cash. They handcuff Sonny in the locker room. Why would Trinity be so closely aligned with Kid Cash after he bullied and humiliated her a year earlier? Horrible music renditions from the Free Live crew now. It seems that they have been dumped to explosion. Well, they are actually the TNA Tag Team Champions, which is easy to forget because they're never on the main show. Now Kid Cash argues with the red shirt security. He reminds us that the red shirt Burks are the number one contenders for the tag belts. Yeah, I tried to forget about that. But we got that to look forward to. Cash says if they do not win the tag belts tonight, they're going to be fired. Oh, please let that happen. Yay, a new cage dancer. About time. Apparently that tag title match is up next. Good. I needed a spray break anyway. It's nothing against the Free Live crew. I just can't stand these red shirt wankers. Can you imagine if TNA was stupid enough to have the crew drop the belts to some security guards? I know TNA have done some dumb things in the past, but even they'd never sink to that level of stupidity. Why has TNA devoted so much time to this security tag team? I do not care about this match, so let's please hurry it up and have the crew win so the red shirts can be fired. As individuals, the red shirts have some decent moves, but it's the whole dumb gimmick. Legend misses a moonsault after 5 minutes. End this now. The Free Live crew start closing on a victory. Legend has been destroyed. Suddenly, Shane and Tracy run out. Konad deals with them. The ref is distracted. Oh no, surely not. Shane Douglas is in the ring and he hits Mold Dog with a chain. Legend gorms out and he makes the pin. 1, 2, 3. Jesus Christ, words fail me. They actually put the tag titles on the red shirt security. A security team are this company's tag team champions now. TNA, why did you do this? Nobody would ever pay to see these guys. I'd have more entertainment, farting in a bucket, sealing it up and opening it a week later to sniff it and try to analyse what I had for dinner that day. It's that bad. These guys are a fart in the bucket. I had my hopes raised that they were finally going to be leaving TNA, and you did the exact opposite by making them champions. Screw these guys. In the back, the Sandman is on a phone. I'm surprised he knew how to use one. It doesn't look like a very fun conversation. The Sandman denies that he's talking to Raven. He pledges to bring a top ECW guy to help him instead, and that man will be Terry Funk. Well, that should be good. Stick around for that coming later in this video. Mike Tenay is in the ring bragging about Terry Funk. He moves on to bring out the Insane Clown Posse. Lots of juggalos in the building tonight. Despite never wrestling for TNA, the ICP have an elaborate video package. Violent J and Shaggy Two Tope decide to bring Too Tough Tony with them because they feel sorry for him or something. This show certainly has more life to it than the last few shows. Violent J sounds messed up. He calls Mike Tenay the bomb and gets him a round of applause. He tells Tenay that he loves him. Look how much this means to Mike Tenay. Doesn't that bring a smile to your face? Sure did to mine. I was stood near to your girl that time. He tells Mike Tenay that one day he will understand the life of being a juggalo. Jay says that they've been watching TNA as much as they can because he noticed how much the juggalos have been in the crowd. From now on, they plan on sticking around in TNA. Violent J turns his attention to Jeff Jarrett. He thought the Slapnuts gimmick was cool originally, but now Jeff isn't cool. Violent J is interrupted by the How Is He Gifted man and the cab driver man. Disco says there's some big stuff happening tonight and they're wasting everybody's time. He compares ICP to Bozo the Clown. What the hell is the cab driver wearing? He looks like a medieval taxi service. Disco complains about the Juggalos throwing beer over Jarrett last week. He demands that they apologise to Jarrett. Violent J is so funny here that Disco can't keep it together. The ICP refuse to apologise and a big brawl happens. They do the do-si-do spot before the gifted cab drivers bail. Very nice fun segment. Good to see some new faces on the show and the crowd made it more exciting. It feels like it's over, but Violent J returns to the commentary table. He says next week ICP will take on the gifted cab drivers. Man, Mike Tenay loves these guys. He's beaming with happiness. In the back, a miserable Erik Watts is main eventing. He's got to win tonight to have full control of TNA. He's been warring with Don Callis over control of TNA for months. He says a whole lot of nothing. The only thing that I did get from it is that next week Jeff Jarrett's going to have to defend his title. Don't you just love how their fight graphics cut off half their bodies? It's so professional. Don Callis in a robe. He looks like Bobby Roode had a stroke. Erik Watts looks homeless as usual. What an incredible main event Shove It squad. But before the battle for power can take place, all the heel and face wrestlers come out handcuffed to each other. Why did they even need to come out? I guess Watts and Callis in the main event wouldn't be exciting enough on their own. Slapnuts desperately handcuffs Mike Tenay to the rail. He looks so pissed off. The match begins. I don't see how Don Callis would have any chance in there. Watts gives him a back body drop into face smacks. He's a dumbass though, and he throws Callis out of the ring so all the cuffed wrestlers can do nothing because they're cuffed. Watts realises this and starts beating Callis around the ring. Callis somehow turns it around. I'm sorry, but look at the state of this guy. Sometimes it is necessary to big time someone and no-sell their work. He isn't a damn active wrestler, and Watts is. He's supposed to be a 6'5" destroyer. Watts tries some sort of dive into the crowd, but he eats a flying chair. They proceed to have an ugly brawl in the crowd. Watts hits him with a chair and takes him deeper into the crowd. Erik brings him back to the ring area. Don Callis runs away up the ramp. Nothing's happening and they come straight back. Watts back body drops Callis on the ramp for a 2. Slapnuts manages to grab Erik Watts. See, I told you, this handcuffed wrestler thing is dumb. They all still have a free hand. Callis hits a knee drop and struts around with happiness, but Watts isn't hurt and he hits a clothesline and a slightly dodgy bicycle kick. Don West points out that it didn't hit properly. Erik Watts goes for a chokeslam, but Callis causes a ref bump. Watts hits the chokeslam anyway, but the pin is broken up by Trinity hitting a moonsault. The ref wakes up but can only count a 2 from that. Erik fights off Trinity and Callis. He powerbombs her with Goldilocks arriving on the scenes. Watts goes to chokeslam Callis when Goldilocks smacks her boyfriend in the slash zone and Dog Callis hits a belt shot. That's the 3? Don Callis now has full control of TNA. It was interesting that the girls had such an important part to play in this match. The handcuff gimmick was incredibly dumb because they forgot to handcuff some people who ended up affecting the outcome of the match. The red shirts winning the tag belts was a complete head scratcher, but if you look past this was the most interesting show for ages, and I will take finally having some sort of storyline progression and new faces on the show. Can they continue their momentum on show 2? We start with a recap of how Erik Watts lost his power in TNA. Literally the only thing I got from it was that they're now spelling Erik with a C in it, even though they haven't been doing that before. This must be a new gimmick for him. Jarrett says he's now running the show. Well, technically it's Don Callis, but it's all the same thing. I wonder if much will change now. The show starts with Jarrett's army surrounding the ring. Borash brings out Slappy of his Slappy crew. I have a feeling that Jarrett's position on the show is about to get sickening. He says that he's going to keep this meeting short and sweet. I have a feeling it won't be. He confirms Erik Watts is gone from TNA. Jarrett brings out some fat dork that Jarrett has been talking to on the phone for the last few weeks. He has wacky trumpet music which sounds like a fat man falling over. This man is a lawyer and he confirms that the NWA board of directors is also gone, including Big Bill Behrens. We turn to the face guys on the stage. The lawyer calls them mentally handicapped. Well, you can talk, you fat bastard, you're physically handicapped. Jarrett wants to tell them what a breach of contract means for them now. From now on, any wrestler who doesn't follow Jarrett's orders, he is able to fire them without explanation. The lawyer says Slapnuts owns all of them. Jarrett addresses the New York numpties as one of them has pledged allegiance to Jarrett and the other one hasn't. He says it's time to come clean or they'll both be fired. He also tells Jerry Lynn that if he doesn't win the World X Cup, he will be fired. Sonny Siaki will be fired too tonight if he can't beat Kid Cash. El Leon must take his mask off tonight if he can't beat Abyss. Jarrett admits that he does have a title shot against the mystery guy tonight, but it won't be AJ Styles, D'Lo or Raven. Jarrett is a nice guy and he offers the wrestlers a chance to address his statement. Randomly, Wildcat Chris Harris is the man to step up. Harris says he's always had a problem with Jarrett. It's not a very good promo, he keeps forgetting what he has to say, but he does improve. Harris sums it up saying that they're all sick of Jeff Jarrett. Slapnuts calls him nothing more than a mid-carder, which is rich coming from Slappy. As I said, it actually turns out to be an okay promo in the end, it just started badly. Chris Harris eventually storms to the ring. This was TNA's first attempt to turn Harris into a singles star because James Storm has messed up his shoulder and he's on the shelf. The good guys take the ring. Quite a long opening segment at 17 minutes, but I enjoyed the randomness of Chris Harris. In the back, AAA representatives talk about the X Cup. Man, that might be the worst nose I've ever seen. What has happened to that? It's 6 different shapes. Basically, they say that the Mexicans will win the World X Cup. That all starts on the next show. Now, a really weird pre-tape promo with the gifted cab drivers. David Young reveals that he is scared of clowns. Gilberti says they're just rappers, don't worry. ICP music is playing the whole time whilst David Young says over and over again that he doesn't like clowns. There has been a notable shift in production on these two shows. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, it's just different. The gifted cab drivers will take on the insane clown posse now. Well, they certainly bring the energy. I have no problem with them being on the show. Gilberti to start because Young is too scared. The Clowns hit a bunch of double team moves to Gilberti. Young is frozen with fear. Gilberti and Young argue on the outside when Shaggy hits one of the worst dives out of the ring I've ever seen. Actually, his much larger partner Violent J hits a way better dive. Young takes a cheap shot, allowing Disco to turn the match. Nice sail job from Shaggy, actually. The cabbie is still scared of clowns. Shaggy turns a suplex into a DDT. Gilberti comes back in with a net breaker and his own DDT. The cabbie rejoins the match and he's still too scared. The clowns smack him back and forth. Violent J hits Young with a Death Valley. I'm surprised Young is able to kick out. For some reason, J just does another DVD. Gilberti has to make the save this time. Then David Young hits the cab driver slam, it's over. No, it's not, because Violent J breaks up the pin. The clowns isolate the cabbie and Violent J climbs to the top. He hits a moonsault. They aren't done and Shaggy dives with a leg drop and that's the 3. Decent little match there. It wasn't boring, it was a bit clunky at times though. Gifted Glenn is a bad loser. Too tough Tony saves his friend. In the back, Team NWA do an interview. They have nothing interesting to say at all. It's Kid Cash versus Sonny Don't Look At My Ass Siaki now. Well, it's 2 of my favourite people on this show, so it should be okay. I'm just not really comfortable with Sonny being a generic good guy. Siaki hits a nice pop-up power slam for a 2. The nice moves keep coming as Sonny counters a head scissors. Siaki gets overzealous though and crashes into the ring pole where Cash decapitates him. He also hits a flying clothesline for a 2. Whoa, Siaki comes back with a released German suplex where Cash falls on his head. Everybody goes silent, even though Kid Cash is a known dick. Surprisingly, he seems to be okay. Moments later, Siaki pushes Cash off the top rope. There's going to be nothing left of Cash at this rate. Kid Cash manages to do something on the outside to turn the match. Kid Cash hits Smash Mouth with the chair, which causes Jarrett's granny to fight Kid Cash with a broom. That gives Sonny time to regroup. He can't avoid the Kid Cash DDT though. Now Cash has the broom. He swings it at Borash. That distraction allows Siaki time to roll up Kid Cash. Sonny keeps his job. Did Siaki really need help from an old lady and a ring announcer to win this one? Don Callis immediately storms out in a bad mood. Callis says he's sick of the 3 idiots. He calls the old lady an old bag who's supposed to be taking tickets and doing nothing else. Borash is nothing but a stooge. And Tiny the Timekeeper's job is to be a fat, disgusting piece of garbage. Callis' words, not mine. Don fires the granny, the Timekeeper and Borash. Callis admits that Siaki isn't fired, but he will be soon next time he breaches his contract. Cash and Siaki fight again until Trinity attacks Siaki. They hit a bunch of kicks and leave him laying. Kid Cash sticks an under new management sticker on Siaki. Is Vince Russo back or something? It feels like something has really shifted. The matches are shorter and the random stuff is ramping up. I'm not complaining, it's just very noticeable. In the back, America's Most Wanted don't look in very good health. Chris Harris admits that he did cross the line tonight. Slapnuts walks up demanding to know who he's facing in the main event. They don't tell him. The next man out is Abyss. There's no ring announcer as Borash has been fired. Abyss is credited with putting AJ Styles and Raven on the shelf. A man called Tim Wells and someone else will help out with the announcing. The opponent of Abyss tonight will be El Leon. These 2 big guys seem to be at a standoff. Leon knocks him down with an enziguri. He clotheslines Abyss out the ring and hits a beautiful flip dive out of the ring. Abyss wants to put him for a table, which he can't manage, but he does manage a Russian leg sweep on the outside. Abyss brutally sends El Leon into the pole and press slams him. Another fun match, not a boring moment. Something has definitely changed backstage. The TNA Bookers timeline is slightly confusing to follow, but if someone knows, please let the Hawk know. El Leon botches a float over, but he recovers with a spear. He hits a belly to belly for a 2. Abyss shuts him down for Uranagi. It's almost like someone told the wrestlers they were too boring, because now it's a move a minute. Speaking of which, El Leon hits a TKO now. Nobody's staying down. Out of nowhere, Abyss hits the black hole slam. He's not in a rush to make the pin. Like an idiot, he tries to remove El Leon's mask. AJ Styles makes his return and causes a DQ finish. Does this mean that El Leon has to unmask now? They clothesline Abyss out of the ring. Nobody goes through the table. AJ Styles demands a world title shot tonight, but Don Callis can't believe the nerve of AJ. He teases the crowd for a bit before saying that AJ Styles can have a title shot tonight, but it will be a tag title shot. AJ's partner will be Abyss. It's so random, but at least it's interesting. In the back is Terry Funk and the Sandman. Funk hasn't missed a step. I always love hearing him go on an old man rant. He says something about his dog being constipated and they vow to kill the Gathering tonight. The Gathering and Punk will now take on the ECW guys. Terry Funk looks like he's got a Chase U shirt on. Here we go then, how crazy can Funk be here? They fight all over the building, it's quite hard to follow at times. Sandman uses his cane. Surely this is the night that Sandman finally gets the win. Funk hits a net breaker and climbs to the top. He flies with a moonsault but misses it. The Gathering use a chair on Funk. Julio gives him a DDT on the chair, and the Gathering also hit him with a spike pile driver. Okay, maybe the Sandman isn't winning tonight. Wait, no, Funk kicks out. The Gathering hit a double suplex for another 2. They keep sending the Sandman out of the ring. Punk attempts a diving Hurricane on Funk, but misses and hits his own partner with a botch. Sandman bulldogs him on a chair and he flies with a Swanton Bomb, but completely misses it.
Dude, I was watching the NWA TNA show the other day, man. And this dude, the Sandman, he stole my Swanton Bomb finishing maneuver, man. But it didn't finish. Man, I'm going back to Carolina. And I'm going to tell my stoner friend Shannon all about you, the Sandman.
They beat Sandman with their double team finisher on chairs. Surprised that they lost here and disappointed by how little Terry Funk did. Now a sit down interview with the New York Numpties. Nobody could possibly care about who is friends with Jarrett and who isn't. Simon blames everything on Disco Inferno. Swinger is suspiciously quiet. He eventually speaks and says he'll do anything for Simon Diamond. Yeah, Swinger is the secret heel here, isn't he? I thought they had to come clean tonight anyway. Wait, Johnny Fairplay walks in, Diamond attacks him and walks off, and everybody looks confused. AJ Styles gets an interview. He's essentially been put in a 3-on-1 handicap match tonight as his partner Abyss is lined with slapnuts. AJ says he'll still win and he'll become a tag team champion. Here come the red shirt Burks, the most random and pointless tag team champions of all time. Even the belts look weird on them. Abyss pulls double duty tonight. The new ring announcer is actually pretty good. No idea who he is though. It seems like it might not be a 3-on-1 handicap match anyway because El Leon fights Abyss into the crowd. So we're left at 2-on-1. Styles hits the red shirts with a flying crossbody. He holds the ring and the red shirts can't even get in. Wow, Styles hits a cool springboard moonsault out of the ring. Legend throws him into the crowd but soon regrets it when AJ flip dives across the guardrail. What the hell is happening on these two shows? It's like they suddenly realised how boring the show was. We get back to the ring where AJ randomly jumps on Legend's back and flips backwards, then he flips off Northcutt with a moonsault to Legend. Incredible stuff. Northcutt shuts him down for a kick and a Michinoku driver for a 2. Nice backdrop clothesline combination from the red shirts now. Northcutt crushes AJ with a high collar suplex. I never thought that I would enjoy a red shirt match. It's a first on this channel. I know it's because of AJ Styles, but they are playing their part. Legend catches AJ's high flying attempt and slams him for another 2. The Legend tries a superplex now, which AJ fights off. Styles can't do anything though because Northcutt interferes and Legend hits a back pat stunner. Eventually Northcutt hits a crazy top rope suplex. AJ kicks out somehow. He's going to be fearing his body after this one. AJ hits the Pele kick and everybody is down. Back on their feet, AJ managed to reverse a double flapjack into a DDT. Chris Harris comes out to even up the odds. It looks like it's going to go AJ Styles' way until Northcutt hits his new finisher, the Northcutt driver. Looks painful, but AJ kicks out, so his new finisher is dead. Harris pulls Legend out of the ring and AJ rolls up Northcutt with a bridging pin. It all happened in a flash, but AJ Styles is now a tag team champion with Abyss. Great title reign, you red shirt Burks. Now get off the show. AJ Styles and Chris Harris feel like real stars on this. AJ Styles and Chris Harris feel like real stars on this show. More stuff about Brian Urchula. Sounds like TNA got some good media coverage by using him last week. He says wrestling is way too rough compared to football. Man, these new graphics are horrible. Insane Clown Posse make fun of Scott Hudson. Violent J tries to explain why they're in TNA. He says they've proved something to fans by beating the gifted cab drivers, but he asked Jarrett for better opponents in a Juggalo street fight next week. Oh no, Erik Watts is here. I thought he was gone. Wait, I think it's Erik Watts challenging Slapnuts for the belt. Watts says he isn't gone from TNA, he's just no longer in power. He's just a wrestler now. He refuses to leave the ring until he can fight Jeff Jarrett. Instead he gets Gold Digger. She wants Watts to apologise for not giving her the spotlight. This again is so random as she rants and rants and rants. She says she'd be more happy pleasuring herself despite her trying to teach Erik Watts how to be a man. This is hot. It feels like a low budget adult film. She starts screaming bedroom noises and reveals that she always faked it with Watts. Erik is in complete shock. He kisses her, chokes her, and he's about to chokeslam her when Slapnuts makes the save with a nightstick. The red shirts soon join in. Watts is handcuffed and beaten up in a chair. He grits his teeth and dumps in his nappy of anger, but he can't do a thing. If things weren't random enough already, Dustin Rhodes makes the save for his TNA debut, and he will be Jarrett's challenger tonight. Pre-Fat Rain, it's another potential Ring of the Hawk candidate. Dustin or S.A. Rios, let the Hawk know. They fight up into the upper crowd level. Because it's a brawl, Dustin does well. He has a DDT on the top of the ramp. Rhodes dominates in the ring for power slam and a bulldog. Abyss has returned from his fight with El Leon and he saves Jeff Jarrett. Styles also joins in and he frog splashes Jarrett. The ref can only count to 2. Then there's a ref bump. Dustin Rhodes hits Slappy in his nutsack with Shattered Dreams. For some reason, the Naturals interfere with a chair to Dustin Rhodes. I thought Dustin was the Natural. Anyway, that's how it ends. Standard Slapnuts match, really. I won't let it ruin my mood though. This was an entertaining couple of shows and I feel more optimistic for this company's future. That was until the last minute of the show. Mike Tenay says he's just spoken to NWA and their final act in charge was to install a new TNA director. That is completely dumb and ridiculous and it makes the whole storyline over the last few months dumb and redundant. Surely Jarrett could just fire whoever it is. I don't agree with this talk, and if you don't agree with that, I'll show your girl why I'm the Hawk.